Did you know that Mission Impossible 7 cost almost as much to make as Avengers Endgame? In fact, with a staggering budget of $290 million, it needed to make nearly $900 million just to break even. Yet, despite Tom Cruise's star power coming off Top Gun Maverick's massive success, something unexpected happened. The movie that was supposed to be the summer's biggest blockbuster found itself in an impossible situation, outshined by a pink doll and an atomic bomb. When Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 hit theaters in 2023, everything seemed perfectly aligned. Tom Cruise was riding high on Top Gun Maverick's $1.4 billion success. The trailers promised the most spectacular stunts ever filmed. Critics were raving, giving it some of the highest reviews in the franchise. It had all the ingredients for a box office triumph. But then, something went wrong. Despite positive reviews and jaw-dropping action sequences, the movie struggled to find its audience. For a franchise that had been consistently growing in popularity since 2011's Ghost Protocol, Dead Reckoning's performance was a wake-up call. How did a seemingly unstoppable franchise suddenly hit turbulence? And more importantly, what does this mean for the future of one of Hollywood's most reliable action series? In this video, we're going to break down the 7 reasons why the Mission Impossible franchise has hit some troubled times. But before we dive any deeper, as always, a quick ask that if you're new to the channel or haven't subscribed yet, please take a second now to hit that subscribe button. It's one small click for you, but a huge deal for us. Thanks. Number 1. The budget balloon. One of the primary reasons for the franchise's recent struggles is the ballooning budgets of the latest installments. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 reportedly had a production budget of $290 million, making it one of the most expensive action films ever made. And now word has it that the upcoming 8th film in the series, the aptly titled Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2, has an even more staggering budget of $400 million. These astronomical figures put an immense amount of pressure on the films to perform at the box office. For comparison, the previous high watermark for the franchise was Mission Impossible Fallout, which had a mere $178 million budget. Even when accounting for inflation, the latest films operate on a completely different financial scale. Part of the reason for these escalating budgets is the franchise's reliance on practical, death-defying stunts performed by Tom Cruise himself. While these stunts have become a calling card for the series, they come at a tremendous cost in both time and money. Shooting and reshooting these elaborate action sequences, along with the need to ensure Cruise's safety, has contributed significantly to the bloated budgets. Number 2. The Barbenheimer Effect. Another key factor in the franchise's recent struggles is the immense competition it faced at the 2023 box office. In the summer of that year, the release of Barbie and Oppenheimer created a cultural phenomenon known as Barbenheimer, a combination of the two vastly different films that captivated audiences and dominated the box office. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, which hit theaters in June 2023, found itself completely overshadowed by the Barbenheimer juggernaut. Despite positive reviews and the pedigree of the Mission Impossible brand, the film struggled to gain traction, earning just over $570 million worldwide. A respectable figure, but well below the franchise's previous high points. The overwhelming popularity of Barbie and Oppenheimer, which drew moviegoers in droves, effectively siphoned away attention and ticket sales from Dead Reckoning Part 1. Audiences seem to prioritize the unique and contrasting experiences offered by the Barbenheimer pairing, leaving little room for the latest Mission Impossible installment to shine. Number 3. The Top Gun factor, a blessing and a curse. Coming off Top Gun Maverick's astronomical success, it seemed like Tom Cruise could do no wrong. The sequel proved that audiences would still show up in droves for practical action and real stunts, but this created a problem of expectations. Dead Reckoning was inevitably compared to Maverick's $1.4 billion performance. When it became clear the movie couldn't come close to those numbers, the narrative shifted from success to disappointment, even though its box office would have been considered solid for most other films. The franchise also faced another unexpected challenge: audience fatigue. While Maverick capitalized on 36 years of nostalgia, Dead Reckoning arrived just 1 year later. The Tom Cruise does real stunts angle, while still impressive, had lost some of its novelty. What was once extraordinary had become expected. Number 4. the identity crisis. Brian De Palma's 1996 film adaptation brilliantly maintained its essence. The now iconic CIA vault scene wasn't just a showcase for Tom Cruise dangling from wires. It was a masterclass in tension, timing, and team coordination, where every team member's role was crucial to the mission's success. But everything changed with Mission Impossible 2. John Woo's stylistic entry marked a dramatic shift in the franchise's identity, transforming Ethan Hunt from a calculating spy into an action superhero. While entertaining, this marked the beginning of a fundamental transformation that would define the franchise's future trajectory. From there, each subsequent film pushed further into action spectacle territory. Ghost Protocol gave us the vertigo-inducing Burj Khalifa climb, Rogue Nation upped the ante with Cruise hanging off a real plane during takeoff, Fallout delivered a heart-stopping halo jump and helicopter chase, and Dead Reckoning Part 1 pushed even further with a motorcycle cliff jump that had audiences holding their breath. Each stunt was more spectacular than the last, but something was lost in this escalation. The essential elements that once made Mission Impossible unique have been gradually diminished. The mask technology, originally a clever tool for complex cons and identity manipulation, has become a convenient plot device rather than an integral part of carefully planned operations. The IMF team, once a collection of specialists whose unique skills were essential to each mission's success, has evolved into more of a support system for Ethan's increasingly dangerous stunts. Even the iconic self-destruction mission briefings, which used to set up intricate multi-layered plans, now feel more like obligatory franchise callbacks than crucial plot elements. Number 5. The Tom Cruise factor. Tom Cruise's impact on the Mission Impossible franchise has become a fascinating paradox. His commitment to practical stunts has undoubtedly elevated the series to unprecedented heights of spectacle, but it's also created a dependency that threatens the franchise's future. The evolution is stark. While the 1996 original featured just 2 major stunt sequences, Fallout in 2018 included 9, and Dead Reckoning Part 1 in 2023 pushed that number to 12, each stunt more daring and complex than the last. Cruise's dedication to authenticity is the stuff of Hollywood legend. For Fallout's Halo jump sequence, he spent over a year obtaining his skydiving license and performed the dangerous high-altitude jump multiple times to get the perfect shot. He learned to fly a helicopter specifically for the film's climactic chase. In Rogue Nation, he actually strapped himself to the outside of an ascending A400M aircraft. The focus on Cruise's physical feats has created a complex web of challenges. Scripts are now noticeably constructed around potential stunt sequences rather than allowing action to emerge organically from the plot. Marketing campaigns have become almost entirely focused on promoting "how did Tom do that" moments rather than story or character development. Perhaps most critically, this stunt-centric approach has made any potential succession plan nearly impossible. Who could possibly match this level of commitment and capability? Number 6. The plot problem. The evolution of Mission Impossible storytelling represents a concerning shift from elegant simplicity to often unnecessary complexity. The 1996 film presented a masterclass in straightforward yet engaging plotting. Ethan Hunt needs to recover the NOC list to prevent the deaths of countless agents and clear his name. The stakes were clear, the objective was tangible, and the villain's motivations, a combination of greed and revenge, were immediately understandable to audiences. As the franchise progressed, this clarity began to blur. The second film's Chimera virus maintained relatively straightforward stakes, though it began the trend toward more grandiose threats. By the time we reached Mission Impossible 3, the MacGuffin, the mysterious rabbit's foot, was intentionally vague, though at least it remained a physical object that characters could pursue. But Dead Reckoning Part 1's AI antagonist represents the culmination of this complexity creep, an abstract threat that requires multiple scenes of exposition just to explain what it is and why we should be afraid of it. This increasing complexity wouldn't be problematic if it served the story, but too often it feels like complexity for complexity's sake. Recent entries in the franchise have become tangled webs of competing agendas, multiple antagonists, and shifting loyalties that require extensive exposition just to unravel. Take Dead Reckoning Part 1's plot. We have an AI system threatening global security, a mysterious key that can control it, various international agencies pursuing both, and a villain whose motivations seem to shift between personal vendetta and technological domination. It's a far cry from the focused narratives that once defined the series. When Jon Voight's Jim Phelps was revealed as the traitor in the first film, it wasn't effective because of elaborate plot mechanics. It worked because it was a simple betrayal that carried emotional weight. Number 7. The competition factor. The modern action film landscape has evolved dramatically since Mission Impossible first redefined the genre in 1996, creating new challenges for a franchise that once stood alone in its approach to practical action. When the series began emphasizing practical stunts and real-world physics over CGI spectacle, it was revolutionary. Today, that approach has become increasingly standard across the industry. The John Wick franchise has redefined expectations for practical combat choreography, with each entry pushing the boundaries of what's possible in real-world action sequences. Mad Max Fury Road demonstrated how practical effects would be enhanced by CGI to create spectacular set pieces that maintain a sense of physical reality. Even Marvel, often criticized for its CGI reliance, has begun incorporating more practical elements into its action sequences. And those are the 7 reasons. So, what do you think? Can Mission Impossible overcome its current challenges? Should it try to compete with massive CGI spectacles, or return to its more grounded roots? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more movie analysis. This video was made by movie fans for movie fans.